For Pecco Bagnaia, he snaps on the inside, so Bagnaia with a bit of a gift up into second.
It could be a key moment that for Bagnaia, because he looks like he was getting a bit impatient behind his fellow Italian. It's not as severe as some of the others we've seen, but you have to chalk that down as another sprint error for Marco Bezzecchi.
In FP2 this morning on worn tyres, Pecco Bagnaia looked absolutely awesome. Now then, with a bit of clear track ahead of him, nobody disrupting his lines or his braking markers in front. What can he do now to hunt down Jorge Martin, of course? Those two career-long rivals, former teammates all the way back in their Moto3 days. This is Bagnaia. Well, he's had a shocker. He has had an absolute shocker, hasn't he, Fabio Di Gianantonio? Any hopes he had of a medal going around his neck at the end of the sprint were ended with a disastrous start, and that's gnarly. That's a real gnarly crash there for Digia. We'll do a 1:30.739 is Pecco's fastest lap of this sprint so far. That's just eaten into Martin's lead and got it down to just over a second. At the moment, struggling to go with that Ducati pace as we look at Jorge Martin. I remember in Qatar, in the very early part of his MotoGP career in 2021 on the Prama Ducati, he got a sensational start.
He's already up to fourth
Negotiates his way through the plummeting Fabio Di Gianantonio. He's already through on Quartararo and Joan Mir. And then look at this. This is so bold. This is talent and skill absolutely off the scale. Around the outside of Bagnaia, Bezzecchi and Marc Marquez into 3 and 4. Absolutely unbelievable move this by Martin.
We usually shortlist the overtakes of the GP on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. There's no need to, and then he gets up to speed, but the damage is already done today.
Jorge Martin's a serial sprint winner. 17 times previously in his Grand Prix career he's won sprints, but this will be one of the best. Just for the lost to Nea Bastianini. It's been a pretty miserable Saturday for the Beast. That's his second crash of the day here. Bagnaia once again has just put in another PB lap, a 1:30.723, but that was slightly slower than Martin ahead of him.
That was Bastianini crashing out of 12th place, so that does promote Joan Zarco back up the order. That is the aerial shot looking at the top three. It's Martin a second ahead of
also getting into some pretty decent rhythm. Looking back into Shimano if we go, Fabio Quartararo there ahead of Joan Mir. There is Marc Marquez looking to make inroads the right way now in this sprint.
Well, Fabio Quartararo hasn't scored many Sunday points. He's just scored 4 of them so far this season. His best results have come in sprints. Remember, he was up in the top 6 in Brazil earlier in the season.
Performance this by Fabio Quartararo. Marc Marquez, well, didn't see this coming from the front row of the grid. Somebody further down the field has taken a tumble in the final sector. Yellow flags are out in sector 4.
It was a miserable afternoon for VR46. It's Frankie Morbidelli who very nearly crashed with his teammate at the chicane when he went down ahead of it a couple of laps.
Yeah, the pace behind the top two, Martin and Bagnaia, is just slackening off ever so slightly here. Yeah, in the middle of 13 and 14 as the only other rider on that lap 6 of 13 that was keeping himself in those 130s just with a 130.9. Ralph Fernandez at the moment outside of the point scoring places in 10th.
Alex Marquez doesn't have great pace at the moment. He's doing low 31s. He's not closing in at any stage really on this group that we're watching. You can just see him in the back of the picture on the Grassini bike. He's going to come under pressure soon from those Trackhouse Aprilias who are in the high 130s. Agura in a lap or two is going to be right up behind Alex Marquez in that battle for 8th place.
Bagnaia at the moment has just got nothing for Martin. In fact, the gap's just through the second split on this lap 7 of 13. It was as high as 1.3 seconds. Bagnaia slightly quicker through the third split, deep into the 600. Well, I think this is PlayStation mode, Xbox mode engaged by Jorge Martin. Look at this. Around the outside he's going to go of Bezzecchi, Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia. Somehow from the middle of the third row of the grid through turn 4, he leads this Tissot sprint here in Le Mans. Look at that, there was contact there, big contact, wasn't there, between Quartararo and Bagnaia on the exit of turn 4. As there are all
Jorge Martin was starting 8th on the grid. How has he just swept around the outside of me after the first 3 corners? A rocket start forward. So remember, he was brilliant off the line in Jerez on the Sunday. That was even better.
Well, just before it was lights out, I said the onus was on Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia to try and defend against the lightning launch of Marco Bezzecchi.
At this stage, since Martin took the lead, he's just gradually been extending that advantage.
Said pre-sprint all weekend, he's had race pace, he's had the speed. Still at the moment, there's one small weakness, one area which Jorge's got to try and improve on. He knows it himself. Just not quite getting the explosive pace that he's over 2 seconds adrift of Ralph Fernandez in 10th. Fernandez just had nothing as he easy for his teammate Ayagura directly ahead of him. The Trackhouse Aprilias have been in tandem pretty much for the whole sprint, but it's advantage Agura.
And Agura is now right behind Alex Marquez, just 3/10 between them. You can just see them behind Marc Marquez on the 93. So, well, Joan Mir,
top left-hand corner of your screens, the gap between Martin and Bagnaia, it's not closing, it's getting bigger. Martin in complete control of this Grand Prix of France sprint here, looking like he's on course for that record 18th sprint success. Further down, here's a trio of Yamahas. This is Jack Miller, still searching for his first points finish at first corner. That's scary for Agura. Big head shake at over 300 kilometres an hour. He kept it all gathered up though, didn't he, to make that beautiful move on the inside of Alex going into turn 3. Brother Marc, well,
stop there, hasn't he?
Second place, let's not forget. Marc Marquez starting the sprint. Oh,
who was that?
Was that Alex? I think that might have been, was it Alex Marquez who's gone down?
Just behind him, I think, who went down. Yellow flags naturally have come out in the second sector. It was Alex
it was Ralph Fernandez
who drops out. So we've lost the Trackhouse Aprilias, who was just outside the points. And yeah, it's not been Ralph Fernandez finest Saturday.
You saw the blue blur. Apologies to Alex Marquez and to all his fans for letting their hearts skip a little bit of a beat. Alex is still in this sprint, albeit at the back end of the point scoring places. Extracting everything out of that factory Yamaha, but there's going to be just one lap remaining, just 4.19 kilometres standing between Jorge Martin and a record 18 sprint success. Focus is the key word. Marc Marquez has dumped it again. Well, this has been...
That's a mess as well.
That's a real mess. Marc Marquez, well, he's had some massive crashes of late. The big crash in practice in Austin, the high-speed crash out of second place behind brother Alex in the Grand Prix of Spain a couple of weeks ago.
Is he going to high-side it?
Oh, dear me. And more misery. It was all out of shape, wasn't it, going in? Lost the front initially, and then the rear grips, and this, he's just along for the ride. Passenger here goes Marc Marquez, and this is another monumental get-off for the reigning world champion. You can see the airbag is deployed. It's another absolutely wrecked and trashed factory Ducati GP26. Marc Marquez's day here in Le Mans started in blistering form with an all-time lap record. It ends, though, in more disaster. The world champion crucial points. What is going on with Marc Marquez?
Hopefully that's as bad as it's got. So as the reigning world champion has a Saturday afternoon shocker here at Le Mans, the rider he replaced as world champion, Jorge Martin, is about to stick his hand up and tell everybody, I want a second title this year.
Yeah, it looked like Marc lost the rear, lost the front, lost the rear, lost the front again. He was all over the place, wasn't he, going into turn 13. Well, this sprint here in Le Mans started in phenomenal fashion for Jorge Martin as he charged through from 8th on the grid. The sprint here is going to finish in phenomenal fashion for Jorge Martin as he takes the checkered flag first. It is a record 18th sprint success for the Martinator. What a ride, what a performance, what a start. One of the best starts you will ever see. Take a bow. Jorge Martin, he does take the checkered flag, 1.1 seconds clear of Pecco Bagnaia.